Roman Reigns just got hit with the worst kind of news, and he wasn't even in the building to see it coming, because last night on Raw, the Bloodline situation didn't just get messy, it got personal, it got violent, and it ended with a scene that should have every single tribal chief loyalist absolutely terrified for what happens next. We're talking about Jey Uso, we're talking about Solo Sikoa, and we're talking about a stipulation that just blew the entire Bloodline storyline wide open. But to understand why Roman Reigns' problem just got so much worse, we have to rewind and look at exactly what went down in Norfolk, Virginia on August 10th. Because trust me, once you see the full picture, you're going to understand why the internet is losing its mind right now. If you're new here, welcome to Wrestle, the channel that breaks down everything happening in the wrestling world before anyone else does. And if you're one of my Day One fans, you already know the drill. Hit that subscribe button, smash the bell icon, because this Bloodline story is about to go into overdrive, and you do not want to miss a second of it. Alright, let's get into it. So here's where we left off heading into this episode. Roman Reigns is your World Heavyweight Champion. He's been dealing with LA Knight breathing down his neck, demanding a title shot after a tense confrontation the week prior. Meanwhile, over in the family business department, things have been spiraling. Jacob Fatu has been on an absolute warpath, laying out Royce Keys and insisting over and over that it's nothing personal. He's just handling family business. Sound familiar? That's Bloodline language. That's Roman's language. And when Jacob Fatu starts talking like that, you know somebody's about to get hurt. Now, here's the thing that makes this whole situation so combustible. Roman Reigns was not on Raw this week. He wasn't there, which meant, for one night, the Empire had no king watching the throne. And when the king's away, chaos follows. The show kicked off with Solo Sikoa strutting out to the ring, mocking the Usos, addressing the Bloodline's attack on Royce Keys like it was just another Tuesday at the office. And then Jey Uso showed up, and you could feel the temperature in that arena change instantly. Jey didn't waste time. He told Solo straight to his face that he needed to fall back in line, that the family had rules, that respect still meant something. Solo wasn't having it. He fired back, bringing up Jey's accomplishments, basically saying Jey had fallen off, that he wasn't the same guy anymore. It was brutal. It was personal. And it built to exactly what you'd expect. A match. But this wasn't just any match. This was a match with stakes that changed everything. Solo Sikoa agreed. If he lost to Jey Uso, he would be forced to return to Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. Full stop. No more independence. No more doing his own thing. Right back under Roman's thumb. Now think about that stipulation for a second. Jey Uso, the guy who spent years trying to escape the Bloodline's grip, the guy who fought tooth and nail for his own freedom, was now the one match away from delivering his own cousin straight back into the machine he barely survived himself. That's the kind of storytelling that makes you lean forward on your couch. And later that night, Jey Uso got the job done. Jey defeated Solo after ringside interference from Jimmy Uso helped him regain control of the match.
Kel now showed up. Jimmy Uso got involved, and with his brother's help, Jey pinned Solo Sikoa dead center of that ring. The crowd in Norfolk absolutely erupted, because everybody in that building understood exactly what this meant. Jey would now deliver Sikoa to Roman Reigns next week. Let that sink in for a second. Jey Uso, the man who once stood up to Roman, who once told his own cousin no when it mattered most, is now the man responsible for physically handing Solo Sikoa back over to the tribal chief, whether he wanted to or not, whether it sits right with him or not. And that, right there, is why Roman Reigns' Bloodline problem just got so much worse. Now, before we dive into where this is heading, let's talk about why this moment matters so much in the bigger picture. Because this isn't happening in a vacuum. This is happening while the entire Raw roster is shifting underneath Roman's feet. The World Heavyweight Championship #1 Contenders Tournament kicked off the same night, and it's setting up a massive showdown down the line in Mexico City. Penta took on Laredo Kid in the first round, and Penta advanced with a win over Laredo Kid in what was an absolute banger of a lucha-style opener. That tournament is building toward one man standing across the ring from Roman Reigns with everything on the line. And Roman is going to have to defend that title while his own family is falling apart behind him. On top of that, LA Knight is still out there demanding his shot, still refusing to let up, still positioning himself as the guy who could knock Roman off his throne the old-fashioned way. No tribal ceremonies, no family drama, just pure, I want what's mine energy. That's a threat Roman has to deal with eventually. And now, he's got to deal with it while managing a bloodline that's actively imploding in real time. And let's not forget Jacob Fatu, because Fatu's entire arc right now has been built on one idea: family business. He's been terrorizing Royce Keys, framing every single attack as loyalty to Roman, loyalty to the bloodline. But here's the question nobody's asking loud enough yet. What happens when Solo is dragged back into the fold? Does Fatu welcome him back with open arms? Or does Fatu see Solo as a threat to his own standing inside the group? Because remember, Solo Sikoa didn't leave the bloodline on good terms. He tried to build his own version of the family. He tried to be the guy in charge. And now he's being delivered back to Roman Reigns like a prisoner of war thanks to his own cousin. That is not a recipe for a peaceful reunion. That is a recipe for explosion waiting to happen. All right, quick reminder before we go further. If this kind of deep dive bloodline breakdown is exactly your thing, do me a favor and hit subscribe, tap that bell, because we are about to get into the speculation, and trust me, this is where it gets really interesting. So here's the big question everybody in the wrestling world is asking right now. What happens when Roman Reigns actually shows up?
Because remember, Roman wasn't even in Norfolk. He wasn't there to witness Jey beat Solo. He wasn't there to see his own family fracture in real time. He's been off doing whatever the tribal chief does when he's not sitting on Raw. And now he's about to walk back into a situation that's already been decided without him. Next week's Raw is set to feature Roman Reigns returning to welcome Solo Sikoa back into the bloodline, live from Buffalo, New York. And on paper, that sounds like a celebration, right? The prodigal son returns. The family is whole again. Roman gets his enforcer back. But according to the way this story has been building, and according to the pattern the bloodline has followed for years now, nothing about this feels like it's going to be a clean, happy reunion. And here's why. Reason number one, Solo Sikoa is not walking back into that family as an equal. He's walking back in because he lost, because he was delivered like property, not because he chose loyalty. Anybody who's watched wrestling long enough knows that forced obedience never lasts. It simmers. It builds resentment. And resentment inside the bloodline has historically led to one thing: betrayal. If creative wants to plant the seeds for the next major bloodline fracture, this is exactly how you do it. You force Solo back under Roman's control publicly, humiliate him in front of the entire world, and then you sit back and wait for that resentment to boil over. Reason number two, Jey Uso just became the man who delivered his own blood back into the very system he fought to escape. Think about the guilt that comes with that. Think about how that eats at a guy who spent years trying to convince the world that family doesn't mean blind loyalty. If the creative team pulls the trigger on making Jey Uso spiral because of what he did to Solo, that's a redemption arc. Or a heel turn. Either direction, that writes itself. Jey could either double down and fully embrace being Roman's guy again, or he could crack under the weight of what he just did and turn against the bloodline entirely, once and for all. Either path is gold. Reason number three, and this is the one that's really got backstage rumblings picking up steam, Jacob Fatu. According to the way his character has been built, Fatu sees himself as Roman's most loyal attack dog right now. He's been putting in the work. He's been the one doing the damage, the one keeping the family's enemies in check. If Solo Sikoa walks back into the fold and immediately starts reclaiming his old spot as Roman's top enforcer, that puts him directly in competition with Fatu. And that is a powder keg. 2 alpha enforcers, 1 tribal chief, and only room for 1 guy at the top of that pecking order. If WWE wants to manufacture the next great bloodline civil war, pitting Fatu against Solo for Roman's favor is about as perfect a storyline as you could ask for. And honestly, when you step back and look at the pieces on the board, it all lines up. Roman Reigns is coming back into a bloodline that's held together by force, not loyalty. He's got Jey Uso carrying guilt for what he just did. He's got Solo Sikoa walking in bitter and humiliated. And he's got Jacob Fatu standing there watching his own position potentially get threatened. That is not a stable foundation. That is a house of cards.
While WWE is keeping the actual creative direction under wraps, the signs are all pointing toward one inevitable outcome. This version of the Bloodline is not built to last. Something is going to snap. The only question is who cracks first and who ends up standing at Roman's side when the dust finally settles. And let's not forget, all of this is happening while Roman still has to worry about actually defending that World Heavyweight Championship. That #1 Contenders tournament is rolling forward with new names getting thrown into the mix every single week, building toward a massive challenge in Mexico City. Roman cannot afford to be distracted by a family that's falling apart at the seams. But knowing this business and knowing how Bloodline booking has worked for years now, distraction is exactly what's coming his way. So here's what I want to know from you. When Roman Reigns comes face-to-face with Solo Sikoa next week, does this Bloodline reunion actually hold together? Or is this the beginning of the end for the group as we know it? And who do you think cracks first? Jey Uso, Jacob Fatu, or Solo Sikoa himself? Drop your predictions down in the comments below. I read every single one, and honestly, some of the theories you all come up with are better than what actually happens on TV. If you enjoyed this breakdown, do me one last favor. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video the moment this Bloodline story explodes even further. Because trust me, after what we just watched go down, it's only a matter of time. This is WrestleCore. I'll see you in the next one.